Well, let's now talk to Commissioner for Information in Lagos, Gbenga Omotosho, who joins us on the news at 10 for more on this development. Well, you had the reaction from the people, Honorable Commissioner. Quite a number of people are not pleased as regards this development. But I'd like to also begin with how much compliance did you gain from the first phase, which has now lasted 3 months, and has government achieved its goal in that regard?
Yeah, you have answered the question. Government has achieved its goals. If government didn't achieve its goals, it wouldn't have gone ahead to pronounce a ban in 4 more local governments. Because whatever anybody may think, all of the things that people are saying, what are they going to be eating, how will they be feeding, and all of that. I usually tell people that the chicken was feeding on something before the arrival of the corn. And apart from that, if you look at the figures that we got from around May, we had 277 accidents in government hospitals. It dropped to 176 in June. That's about 63.5% drop. And this just because of the ban on Okada in 6 local government areas. So the government was encouraged to go ahead and ban in more local governments. In fact, we had a town hall meeting on Okada, and everybody was saying there should be a total ban on Okada in Lagos. But the government in its wisdom said, let us give people enough notice for them to know that we cannot continue to have Okada flying around Lagos with all the security problems, with all the problems about safety that Lagosians are confronted with. So the compliance today has been very fine. I would like to appreciate all the Okada riders who stayed off the road. I would like to appreciate Lagosians who felt that it was fine for them, because we've been getting reports that it's okay that we should not back down on this path.
Well, let's talk about the alternative that the Lagos state government is proffering. We talk about the last mile buses. How exactly do this operate? Are they operational already? How do they function?
Yeah, we are pushing out at least 500 first mile and last mile buses. Today alone, we have pushed out 200 to join the 200 that we pushed out recently. So we have 400 of these buses in operation and about 1,000 high capacity buses in operation now. So people have alternatives.
Let's talk about the jail sentence for offenders. We hear that both the rider and the passenger now risk 3 years in jail. Are there alternatives to the offense? You are not planning to actually put people behind bars for 3 years for riding Okada in prohibited areas, are you?
Well, if that's what the law says, who are we to say that we are not going to obey? And then the judge is there. If you go to court for riding Okada and maybe for mounting Okada when you shouldn't be doing that, and you are brought before the law, it's at the discretion of the judge.
I'm just curious because already we have the issue of overcrowding in our facilities. In a country where even Boko Haram, apologies to get some level of reprieve and they are reintegrated into the society. Are there alternatives to these penalties, really?
There should be alternatives. Like what I said, depends on the judge. But what we are talking about is when you have to choose between anything and livelihoods, you have to support life. So we are trying to save life. So we are trying to say that this is the punishment so that people can be deterred. So anybody who opens his eyes and knows that if you mount an Okada, you are going in for 3 years, and then you still go and do it, then that such a person has done something so indiscreet and deserves to pay for it.
We're hearing about some anti-Okada squad. Is that a separate outfit, and what's the parameter of their operations in this regard?
Yeah, they are a group of young people who also believe that the Lagos that we are building does not deserve Okada, and that Lagosians do not deserve to have their limbs cut off and their heads smashed up because they want to get from one point to another. And they have come to say, as volunteers, to join the government in enforcing the ban. And it's worked in the 6 first local governments that Okada was banned. And now this one, and it's going to work it.
So the goal is to completely ban Okada in Lagos, right?
Well, the governor says so. He made it very clear when we pronounced the ban on June 1st that it's going to be a phased ban. And all the people who are saying that they need more time, I mean, from June 1st up to this time, you have to have found another way of earning a living. And there are so many ways of earning a living in Lagos, more decent ways than mounting Okada. So it's, for me, I won't say now that it's a total ban. Now we talk about what is going on now. What is going on now is that in 10 local governments, Okadas must not be visible, they must not be seen, they must not be heard, and they must not be fed at all.
The second phase is coming 3 months after the first. I'm just asking,
Right.
what's the government's long term in phasing out
The long-term plan is for us not to have Okada in Lagos at all, because it's not part of the greater Lagos journey we are talking about. It's not part of the transport plan that we have for Lagos. We have brighter plans, we have bigger plans, we have more colorful plans for this.
Absolutely. Commissioner for Information in Lagos, Gbenga Omotosho, thank you for talking to us tonight.
Thank you.